Hello, everybody. Today I'm brunching with the legendary Jimmy Burns, and when you first came to Chicago, and what it was like coming here.
A dream come true.
It was a dream come true.
I couldn't
Okay,
wait to get here.
really?
Oh my God, you just don't know.
Mm. Okay.
12 years old, had never seen anything like it. And I'm not from here,
Hmm.
but I've been all over the world and some major cities here in our country. But
Okay.
I've been a lot of major cities overseas. And I think Chicago is the greatest city in the world.
Really?
I
Okay.
love, I love, I love Chicago.
Hmm.
I love it with a passion,
Hmm.
and I've been here for almost 70 years.
Hmm.
So I really learned standard tuning when I got here. Started studying books and stuff and doing like folk music.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, so that's how I really learned to do it.
Hmm. So all right. Tell me a little bit about that. You said you started doing folk music. Um, So you started playing because your dad influenced you to play. Who? How did that happen?
Not so much that, not because of anybody influenced me,
Hmm.
because I just liked the music that I was doing and was playing.
Okay.
I just like music, period. I don't really have a preference.
Hmm.
You know, there's only one type of music, and that's good music,
That's right.
in my opinion.
That's true.
But
Okay.
I'm not, I'm not a purist.
Uh-huh.
You got to play it this way, that way. You play it whatever way you feel.
Right.
If
Yes.
it hits you, do it.
Right.
You know, the first band I played with was in 1959 when I was 16, and we recorded a record with the group I was with. 'Cause I had never worked with a band before, because it was always just me on the guitar
Hmm.
and somebody else on guitar.
Okay.
So that's how that happened. Yeah,
So when you were doing that, when you was playing guitar, were you playing like at school, or how did you
pretty
first
much
start
like
playing?
playing at home.
Okay. And
Cause
then.
I, cause I remember the first thing I remember playing. It was just like before my mom and dad separated. My mama had this lady, Miss Anna, had she was like a church for Mr. Leroy's wife. She was like in the sanctified, well, Church of God in Christ. We call them sanctified.
Hmm.
And she had loaned my mother the guitar. My mother didn't really play guitar, but she would mess with it, and she let me play it. And that's how I started out with it. Cause one of the first things I played was a couple of tunes. And it was an open. I didn't know. I realized then it was open to called "You Gotta Move."
I
You
don't.
got to move. You got to, when the Lord get ready, child. You got to move.
I probably just don't
It's
remember.
old standard
Mm.
tune. And then I started messing with this other tune. I think I met the guy that Frank, a guy named Frankie Lee Sim, and that was a tune called I think it was Loose and Made Blues.
Okay.
Yeah, first tune I really learned to play.
Hmm.
Blues tune. Don 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 bum 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 bum. I heard Buddy Guy do that on one of his videos,
Hmm.
but I think I met the guy that did it because I met a guy down at Ground Zero. I don't. I think he was Frankie Lee Sims. I didn't record that. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So that was me with blues, and then later when I got here to Chicago, the building I lived in, there was a guy named Zach Pierce. This was on LaSalle. Because I lived on LaSalle and Oakland LaSalle at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and in one room, of course. Everybody had one room in there.
When you first people first came here,
Oh yeah,
yeah, yeah, they
that
sure
had one.
did.
Cause I heard you talking about community kitchen,
Right,
but then I think you had a stove in the room then, and then we
right.
moved down the street.
Mm-hmm.
Oakland Wells, they had a community kitchen. But anyways, there was this guy there, but he was singing gospel at the time. He had a couple of boys, and they were a little bit older than me, but one was right there with my brother Doc. And then we started doing gospel, and that's pretty much when I started going to the south side because I hadn't been here, but I didn't know I was going to then at the time. Still, it was
Mm-hmm.
Brownsville. I didn't know nothing about
Right.
Brownsville
Mm-hmm.
till later. And then I never spent a lot of time on the south side. I mostly was like near north
Mm.
and the west side, you know. And I remember going out there doing gospel. This was like from about 56 to 58. And then 58, I pretty much like stopped singing in church and like joined the group,
Mm.
doo wop group at the time.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh.
And we used to rehearse at rehearsal at Seward Park over there on Elm and Orleans. And a lot of people just rehearsed all over there.
Mm-hmm.
The Impressions, they're
Oh
from the
yeah.
north side too.
You said the impressions like Curtis Mayfield.
Oh yeah,
All right.
yeah. Curtis, Major Lance, Jerry, but all us from the north siders.
Okay.
We living in the same neighborhood. And
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really know Jerry, but I knew I went to school with his brother Billy, and his sister used to hang with us, Maddie Butler. I went to school with Major Lance and his sister, the Monkey Time and all that stuff.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, his sister Betsy. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, but we were all from over there. But that's how I got started because
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I was 16, we did a show at the park outside, and I will forget it was on a Sunday. And all the girls come running up there. They blew me away, 16-year-old boy.
And you were hooked since then.
Yeah.
Oh
And
wow.
then after that, I didn't really mess with any more groups. I just started working with bands.
Mm-hmm.
And the bands I worked with was me and my brother I just got off the phone with because he was a bass player
Okay.
and some more guys. And we were just doing like what they call Chicago blues, which was really nothing but I've always did some everything. I've never limited my music.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing everything like Ted Taylor. Unless you remember, you probably don't remember him. Can't take no more, so baby, bye bye. I put a hurt on you and all that stuff.
Oh wow, no. I'm gonna go Google it though. I promise
Ted, oh yeah,
you. I bet you I'm
I
gonna
think he
do
got
that.
killed in an auto accident. He was out of some part of Louisiana. I don't know where. He had a lot of gold in his mouth. Light skinned brother. And he had a tune out called Be Ever Wonderful. No, you younger than me. I know you don't remember
No,
that.
I don't.
No. Yeah, yeah, but I was doing stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing a lot of stuff. Joe Hinton,
Joe Hinton. Oh, okay.
William Bell,
Uh-huh.
B.B. King, whatever you name it. It was
Okay.
just whatever I felt like doing, I did it. I still do that today, right today.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's that's pretty cool that you didn't pigeonhole yourself. You played what you wanted to play. What felt good to you, you played.
I was messing with something today before coming here. Uh,
Homework.
my mama told me, oh, she passed away. Son, when I'm gone, don't forget to pray. You probably never heard it. That was on. I had it when I was with my first wife
Mm.
because I used to buy a lot of albums, LPs, and that was one of the tunes on it. And I was because a lot of I don't read music. I just depend on my ear
Mm-hmm. Okay.
because everything I play now is from what I've heard, not from what I know. But when I play it against the record, I'm pretty close. So I thank God for my ear,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah, so that's how I learned, and I'm still learning.
Yeah.
Cause I was
Yeah.
messing with that. I'm finding out how easy a lot of stuff is to play. Like, cause I love Martha Reeves and the Vandellas,
Mm-hmm.
especially the piano part on Heat Wave. Ba 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 ba
Oh yeah.
ba
Mm-hmm.
ba ba ba. It's a very very easy tune to play. Not a lot going on with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I met a guy that was part of the Funk Brothers.
Oh.
My brother, he played with my brother, the oldest brother Eddie. He's dead now. He died in 12, and he played with the Funk Brothers. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm. And the Funk Brothers were the house band for Motown.
that's right.
All right.
But he was with them earlier.
Uh-huh.
He was
Okay.
from Jackson, Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Hunter. He was the same age as my brother. My brother was born in 28. Joe was born in 28. So he worked with my brother for a minute. And I met some of the guys that had worked with Motown. One guy had worked with Junior Walker, but I found out something about those guys. A lot of people they don't know this. There's a difference in Delta blues and other blues. Delta blues something like what Muddy Waters was playing, the Robert Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Now Joe Turner blues was not the blues scale; it was the major scale. A lot of people they don't get this. Like when what's his name? Slim, Guitar Slim, when he made Things I Used to Do. That was in the major scale. The thing that I used to do, because if you try to play blues scale with it, you're gonna mess it up.
Mm.
But it's still blues, and that's I noticed that with the guys from the southeast, with Piedmont or from Louisiana, they played pretty much like the major scale, as opposed to the blues scale. They didn't do deep blues. It's pretty, nothing wrong with it. Now, don't
Mm-hmm.
get me wrong, I'm not saying that.
Now, when you say deep blues, you mean Delta or?
Yeah, Delta is
Okay.
different.
Mm-hmm.
Delta's altogether. BB didn't play Delta.
Mm-hmm.
He played more, they call it urban.
Hmm. Well, what about is it North Hill Country or Hill Country or something like that?
Hill country was pretty much like, that's like in northeast Mississippi, place we just got through talking about. When you
Well, my
see,
mom's family around
yeah, right
Holly
up there,
Springs. Okay.
right up there.
Okay.
What it is with that, they pretty much like playing like remember you heard me talking about open tuning?
Yes.
That's pretty much what they doing. Because when you go to R.L. Burnside, I think that's how he played. They ain't doing a hell of a lot of changes in the music, but they playing like open tuning and slide, or what something like what Johnny Lee Hooker played.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Lee Hooker music was close to hill country, you know.
Okay.
So that was the Muddy now was a whole different thing. Muddy was a deep thing. Lightning Hopkins again was a deep thing.
Mm. Okay.
Lightning was deep. And I didn't always know the difference in that.
Mm-hmm. I
But
didn't either. Excuse me. I did not either. I don't know. Was I watching a documentary or something, and they started mentioning the different styles, and that's when it hit me. Oh yeah. Why hadn't I thought of it sooner? But yeah.
no, it is different. Because, the different tuners and stuff, a lot of guys, they didn't play standard tuning. Elmo James didn't play standard tuning. But he could play anything in that open D. Did you ever hear TV Mama by Big Joe Turner?
No, but I know Big Joe Turner though. I've heard a lot
Oh,
of his
Big Joe.
music.
I love Big Man. To me, from what I've heard, is closer to a Delta blues because a lot of it is like in a minor, you know, like when they doing like St. James Infirmary and all of that. Sort of sad sound. But minor was pretty much like what they played a lot of in Beethoven and
What
all.
do you think of when you started out? The blues that from then to now, like you see a lot of musicians coming in.
Well, it was different because then there was a lot of R&B going on. You had guys like when I was a kid before coming to Chicago, I was listening to Muddy Waters, Baby, also Big Joe Williams, Baby Please Don't Go, Fast Domino, Please Don't Leave Me, Don't Go, Please Don't Leave Me. Ooh, I still remember that. I'm messing with that today. And Lord of Miss Claudia, Lord Price. Again, that was in the uh, regular, what I call it, not the blues
You said
scale.
standard scale, open scale.
No, not the open tuning.
Oh,
Major scale.
okay.
The major scale. And most all that R&B stuff was not bluesy. They call it blues, but it wasn't like Delta blues.
Hmm.
You know, it wasn't deep like what Muddy was doing. Like when Muddy was doing stuff like "I'm Ready," that I was smoking. Dun, dun, dun. You know, because you had these guys had came up. They was different. They were younger musicians.
Hmm.
They had some different what they borrowed a lot from the old guys. Because I still do that.
Hmm.
All my stuff come from the old masters, and I give them praise.
Right.
That's how I learned it.
Right.
I
And that's
learned
why you are as still doing very well because you learn from the old masters and you honor that.
I always will.
Always will. Hmm.
And when I hear guys play, I listen to see if they're playing Delta. But the Delta's the root.
Hmm.
The Delta's where the rock came from. A lot of people don't get that. Those rock guys, that's where they got it from. They got this stuff from Muddy Waters and Robert Johnson. It all comes from that. And I'll tell anybody that.
That's right.
And there's so many ways that you can use it. And I do it all the time. I hear it and I can, regardless what I play, it always goes back to that. And you can't separate them from it. So they can say rock, but we're rock. It's black music, plain
Hmm.
and simple.
Hmm. It all stemmed
From the blues,
from the blues.
from the blues,
Right.
and they want to say the industry try to separate it if they wanna, but they cannot separate it. You cannot separate that from the blues.
That's right. Yeah. It didn't start out being
It didn't start out
recordable.
being electrified
Right.
because they didn't have no electric instruments.
Okay.
The one that electrified the blues was Muddy Waters
Hmm.
and Elmo. The only thing they did was electrified Robert Johnson.
Okay. Hmm.
Because when I first heard, I tell anybody, if you read anything about me, they ask me my early influences, I'll tell them. Muddy Waters, Lightning Hopkins. Lightning player guitar so good. And I borrow a lot of his stuff. You might not recognize it a lot of time, but on my tune, Leaving It Walking,
Hmm.
that's Lightning Hopkins lick. I just flicked it up. And I'll tell anybody that.
Hmm.
Because I'm not trying to take, all of us borrow.
Of course.
But
And you should.
like when I was in Siberia one year, I heard this tune. They were way the hell back there. I don't know where the hell it was in Siberia, Russia. And they were playing this 1948 Muddy Waters. Well, I feel like snapping. Oh man, it was jumping. It was on. And I remember that as a boy. Because at the time, I was probably about 5 years old when I heard it, but it was always one of my favorite tunes by Muddy. Can't Be Satisfied.
And you were
I was like,
out in Russia near Siberia and they were playing it.
I'm sorry.
And they were out in Russia. You were out near Siberia and they were
Oh, I
playing
was in Siberia. Way the hell, Siberia is way the hell back there.
it. Hmm. And you
I've been
heard it
there,
again.
and they playing that. I said, Lord, look at here. I mean, it was jumping. And Muddy had a funny, but dun, 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 dun. Oh, I mean that thing. The true blues, all you got to do is play it. It has its own thing. You listen to Jim Marie. Jim Marie got a built-in thing.
Mm-hmm.
All you got to do is play it, and it's rocking. All you got to do is play it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, same thing with Muddy. Like Muddy's only playing Robert Johnson. That's who he's playing.
Okay.
Elmo playing Robert Johnson. That's where it all came from. Because what's that tune that Muddy did? Late in the evening. He got that from Robert Johnson, wrote Walking Blues. I woke up this morning. You know who was something else? I don't know if you remember him, but I didn't know him that well, but my brother knew him in Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
Honey Boy.
Mm. I've heard of him.
Honey Boy Edwards.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he was amazing. He was really amazing. Honey Boy Edwards. My brother and them knew him down there. They knew Sonny Boy number 2 down there too. They knew Pine Top.
Okay.
Pine Top used to go with my older sister. You know, them old man wasn't messing with. He wasn't that old then, but my dad was in that too. Mess with them young women. He was death on them young girls, boy.
So, in your work today and in your life, what's most important to you now as you continue to play the blues and
The music, the music. I'm gonna explain something to you.
okay?
I'm forever rediscovering blues or the music and adding something different to it. Because every time I learn a new tune, I'm learning a whole bunch of other tunes. Because what you find out is that basically they're all the same. That's and a lot of musicians don't recognize that. The thing is about relativity, how it's related. They don't hear that a lot of them
Mm-hmm.
because my biggest asset is my ear because I don't read and I don't really know chords. I'm going by sound, and that's really what I go by. And when I play it up against the record, I'm damn close to the real McCoy. You know,
Yeah.
I've tried to learn to read music now, but when that stuff started going, I look at that, I leave it alone.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah,
So
I'm sorry, Randy. Go
no,
ahead.
no, no. I was going to say. So after all the years of playing and traveling, you have any favorite places or
Yeah,
that come to mind?
yeah. Brazil.
Mm.
I love Brazil. I love Brazil.
Why? What about
Brazil.
Brazil?
Huh?
What is it about Brazil?
Well, you got outside of the United States, you got the largest population of black people outside of Africa, and I've read so much black history, and but I didn't always know because they had the largest slave colony down there, and I played in 2 former slave plantation, coffee plantations down there,
Hmm.
and talking to people, just talking to other black people. I get off on that. And then my next step is to go to Colombia because I got a buddy down there. He's not black, but it doesn't matter. I don't care about color anyway.
Mm.
They use that to separate people.
Right. Mhm.
So, but my buddy Leo, I learned a lot from him. He's a good brother. He's down in Bogota. That's the second largest place outside of Africa with a lot of black people. You know,
Mhm.
my granddaughter was down there. She was in. She wasn't in Bogota. She was in another place.
Okay.
Yeah,
Do you have any favorite places to play, like venues, clubs?
I don't really think about it. I'm pretty much like I like buddies.
Okay.
I like roses.
Mhm.
I like blues when it was open. Kingston Mines. House of Blues was a little bit different, but it was okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Hmm. So, you have another big birthday coming up.
Yeah, I'll be
82 years
82.
young.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't think about age.
Yeah. I don't either. Just
I just don't.
right. Just
Not
live.
that
That that we don't become aware, right?
I just don't think about it.
Yeah.
So much other stuff going on in your life, and
Mhm.
everything is going to take care of itself anyways.
That's true.
Sooner or later, you're going to get to wherever you're going to get to.
That's right. Mhm.
I don't even think about like racism anymore because one thing I know, we're all created by the same creator and with our people. And Lord knows I love all of our people, my fellow countrymen. I don't care what the ethnicity, uh, but we all share one thing in common. We all have the same nationality. We're from this nation. That's all that matters to me,
Mhm.
you know.
Okay.
So I'm not hung up on none of that.
Okay.
Even though my first marriage was in a racial one when I was 18. My kids are biracial.
Mm.
My first two,
Okay.
but I don't get off on that stuff.
Okay.
I can really say I'm at peace now. Whatever happens. If I die today, I die happy, man, because of what I've seen. Me and my wife, before she passed, we first voted for the first black president of the United States. I knew it was coming, but I didn't know when. And we voted for the first black mayor of Chicago,
Mhm.
not once but twice. And my niece, one of my nieces, worked for the richest black American black woman, Oprah, and she was a personnel director when she was here in California. And I'm happy. In politics, I don't look for nothing special. For ain't nothing I want from them because they all the same. They Democrat or Republican. They all crooks. It just a matter whether it's your crook or my crook.
That's true. I believe that for sure.
And that's my thinking.
So, I like to always encourage people to come out and support live music.
Hmm.
And you hear a lot. We're trying to keep the blues alive. We're speaking traditional blues. Um, and actually, when I say that, I mean to keep the cultural heritage of the blues where it should be, and respecting that all of these different types of music originated with the blues, and that's
That's
from
right.
black people.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
mhm.
And you take here in Chicago, a lot of people. I'm fortunate in the sense where I'm in places where a lot of tourists come and they listen to it. Because these are not people just looking for one particular. These are just people looking for a place to go For most of them, they don't know the blues from a, they say like knowing your ass from a hole in the ground. They don't. You know, there's most, I found out most people just like good music, period.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yes, and what it is, they couldn't tell you. Because I've heard people say, oh, I like the blues. I don't like the blues, but I like what you playing. Well, hell, I'm not playing blues. Because in reality, I'm not a true blues man. I'm more or less like R&B doing blues. Because you put me up against Muddy Waters, I can't compete with Muddy. I'll do his music now, but I'm going to do it Jimmy Burns way.
That's right. Yeah.
You know,
Uh-huh.
or whatever it is, I'm going to do it my way.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I'm not a traditional blues
Mm-hmm.
man. Some guys just got a blues sound.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really have that, in my opinion. I'm just saying.
Okay. Okay. So people can look out for your shows at Buddy Guys Legends and just check online.
Absolutely.
Check
I'm
on.
not doing a lot right now because right now I'm working on other tunes. Like I've been messing with this tune by John Fogerty, Bad Moon Rising. I know you heard that.
I have to
I know you have.
listen to it.
I see a
Oh
bad
yes.
moon. Well, now there's something about
Mm-hmm.
that. A lot of people call it rock, but that's not what I hear. See, I'm from the gospel field. When I hear that, I'm hearing stuff I heard in the church. Did this boy ever listen to the church? Like the Dixie Hummingbirds? All this stuff comes back to me. Dun, 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 gospel music. Yeah. And I don't know how much I don't know if you ever listened to the Dixie Hummingbirds. Did you?
No, if I did, I don't remember.
Well, I came up with them.
Mm-hmm.
Sam Cooke and the Soul Series, that from a little boy. But I used to do all of that stuff. And I still, cause Sam was such a damn good writer. Most all the hits he had, he wrote them. He was a damn good writer and a good singer. But you know, once you do that stuff, you realize it's repetitive, though.
Mm-hmm.
It's over and over, and not only him, but a lot of them. Even me. When you listen to those guys, they got a certain way they write. I've been messing with some Curtis Mayfield. It's not too long ago. I did a thing up in Evanston with Curtis, and I did a lot of stuff that he wrote for other people, like for Gene Chandler and Walter Jackson and other people. It was pretty much, if you weren't careful, you get it all mixed up because it's basically the same. A lot of people, they don't really get that. Not that I'm smart for hearing it, but yeah, I'm not.
Okay. Well, I'm not gonna keep you
Okay,
for an extended time. I just wanted to get your thoughts and so that everybody can hear about the great Jimmy Burns's
well, thank you.
beginnings, and you have so much rich history to offer. And I
Thank you
just
so
love
much.
how you share what you've experienced and the way that you share it is, and you give us so much history around what else was happening
Right.
at that time. So I appreciate that.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Pleasure meeting you.
And I'm going to be around to see you, continuously as you play, as
Okay.
as I have been since I met you. So
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you too.
Okay. God bless.